Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the new Mythic of Mother of Darkness that is currently in the Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest for this week only, and then it'll be in the drop table with everything else. As far as this Mythic is concerned, it ended up getting nerfed pretty hard before it ended up coming out. Ended up losing a good majority of its boost ratio off of its ability, which was originally going to be a 10 times, and it was reduced down all the way to a 1 times per purple. So this thing is going to be probably worth skipping. Not going to be too good to use, but we'll still end up showing some teams for it to kind of see what it can be used for. But honestly, it's pretty much just going to be used for bled. As far as what it actually does, it is the following. It deals some true damage to an enemy, and then the enemy below that. So you could either do it on first or wherever you want. However, you generally want to do it on not last slot, because it will only hit one target if you end up doing so. And other than that, it gets a boost ratio based on purple, as I was mentioning, but it's only a 1-to-1, so if there's 10 purple on the board, that'll be 10 additional damage. And if the enemy happens to die, it'll end up getting 12 purple gem spawn, which is going to be pretty decent if you can end up getting it, as you could feed that into something else that synergizes well into true damage. Quite a few purple options that could do that, or you could do it into a mana generator. Otherwise, it'll end up summoning 2 Sisters of Shadows, which is actually a bad thing. Sisters of Shadow is this thing right over here. If we go type in Sister of Shadows, which isn't really that good of a troop. It deals damage, not even true damage, just damage to the 2 weakest enemies, and if the enemy dies, gain an extra turn. If that was true damage, I would say, maybe. But the fact that it's physical damage makes it so it's really horrifically bad synergy. Maybe they'll eventually make it true damage, but as it currently stands, it is physical, and for that reason, this thing is pretty bad. Other than that, the only redeeming factor it has, and pretty much the 100% only reason you would ever bother using this troop in the current state of the game, is the final trait. It inflicts bleed to all enemies whenever matching 4 more gems, which basically means every extra turn off the board. This is obviously pretty good, as with 4 extra turns, you'd be able to go and bleed the entire enemy team. And a 4 stack of bleed is 10 true damage to all enemies per turn, which obviously is quite a bit of damage over time. And you can keep refreshing this pretty easily just by taking another bleed to essentially keep them bled forever, assuming they don't have cleanse or bless. So it should be pretty strong in that regard, but other than that, it has basically no redeeming quality. It reminds me a lot of Queen of Sin, in that it just has like a summon attached to it with a double hit true damage. It has a lot of similarities to it, and both of them are relatively useless mythics. But we're still going to go get it, go and mess around with it, see what it can do, and go from there. We'll start with gold keys, see if we can end up getting lucky. We'll do it 50 at a time to see if we could hopefully get it within one of these 50s rather than wasting a little bit extra by going into 200. A little bit slower this way, but make sure we don't accidentally waste more keys than we need to, because the only drop we really need is the Mythic on this account. Not really looking for anything else, and there it is. I think that was 250, pretty good. Definitely could have been way worse, so that's about definitely above average luck. So we can finally go replenish our gem keys once again. That'll be nice. So that was someone already saying congrats. Yeah, we got the Mythic. So let's go mess with this thing now. First things first, though. Let's go and upgrade this thing, of course. Oh, yeah, I can't do unowned now. Let's see. Let's go to Mother. That should bring it up. There's very few things with Mother in their name of this thing. This thing is a Mythic, so we can, of course, just use a major orange and a major green, as they get best value, of course, on a Mythic. If we were to go use it on anything, obviously we don't want to go and metal it yet. Well, let's go put this into a few teams and see what this thing can do. Do keep in mind, these teams probably won't really be meta. They're mostly just to show off the Mythic, but gotta try it with something, if nothing else. I probably won't be using it much. I don't even think it would really even be worth incorporating into a Guild War day, even though I did mention it for one. This offer is always not worth it, so don't bother going for it. Okay, so let's go and get into this. Actually, I have one thing I do need to go tweak. I believe we need pure magic for most of these. That are 20% into an 8 magic. Depends which one we're actually running. But first things first, let's go fight it against another life and death. So we're actually going to have a bit of a life and death mirror here, which means this battle might be 10 hours long. Just kidding. But here's probably one of the better teams I feel like that would end up working for. It is Leprechaun, life and death. Also, if you don't have life and death, I believe it is available in about a week or 2 weeks. Let's see, what faction is that again? I'm pretty sure that's the right faction, right? That is, yes, that is Silver Necropolis. If you don't currently have Life and Death, it is actually available next Tuesday. and the Mythic will still be available then. So if you're looking for a good synergy weapon, or a good synergy anything, for this new Mythic, Life and Death is coming out again on Tuesday, so if you don't currently own this insanely good weapon, you need to go get it, because it's great synergy with this Mythic, but also it's just a great weapon in general. I believe out of every faction weapon, this is the best one, and that's available next Tuesday, and it's only available on that Tuesday, and then it won't be back till like 4 or 5 months later, so definitely pick that up. But yeah, it's Leprechaun, Life and Death, Mother of Darkness, and Arachnaean Weaver. And one nice thing about the synergy, as a couple Mythics can do, of course, is it covers all mana with only 2 troops. Between the Mother of Darkness and the Arachnaean Weaver, we can cover every single color in the game. As far as summons, we're going to mostly want to be focusing, obviously, on Arachnaean Weaver's summon and not on hers, as she has a really bad summon. We're mostly only going to want to use her ability if she can secure a kill. One nice thing about double tapping on her ability. Oh, we just lost Leprechaun. But one nice thing about double tapping on this ability is she will be able to go and have synergy with Life and Death, and that both of them have the capability of double tapping. Life and Death has to hit the last 2 slots, however she can hit whatever, but of course we can go and target those last 2 slots if we want. So we'll try getting her mana up. Unfortunately, she does not have immune to Death Mark, but what we can do here is just go for our Explosion, get that rolling. Hopefully we'll have something in kill range of her ability. Keep in mind we do get some extra damage, and we could feed right back into Arachnaean Weaver here. So right here we actually have enough to go and double kill, so we'll go get both of those down. And as you can see, we end up getting a 12. Do keep in mind it does not stack. Every single thing that triggers something on death on their ability will only trigger it once, even if you get multiple kills. So unfortunately, she does not spawn 24 gems, even if you get a double kill. So do be mindful of that. Every single troop in the entire game interacts that way. And of course, she is no different. It doesn't matter if you get multiple kills, it will only trigger its ability up to once based on the on-death thing. It will not trigger it multiple, which is unfortunate because she would be a lot stronger otherwise. But anyways, that's that, and honestly, probably the strongest team that I'm aware of that can really use it. If your Leprechaun happens to die, which kind of happened there, but you know, if the slot completely dies out, you can end up getting multiple different summons there, depending on what you want. You can get either a giant spider there, or you can end up getting a web spinner there if you could take the % chance, and worst comes to worst, you would also have the Sister of Shadows summon. However, you do want to try avoiding as much as possible summoning Sisters of Shadows, as it is just an awful summon that basically makes it worse. It'd be better if it didn't even have that summon. But anyways, unless they were going to buff it into the future. Let's go with this one now. We might die because of Yagwe, but we'll see if we can take it out. This actually uses the new Crysturtle. You can also do this with Rope Dart if you want to go down that route instead, and kind of run it with Hero with Rope Dart if you happen to have Rope Dart. But this is a little bit of an interesting team in that we're going to be synergizing a double brown convert. I believe this is the first team I ever bothered building where it actually uses a double brown convert. But yeah, we have 2 things that can convert any color on the entire board into brown, which is basically the premise here, which is very beneficial as we're using 2 mythics that are very dependent on that color. So right here, I'm going to try getting Apothecary down because we need it for the anti-freeze, which is being very annoying right now. And it looks like Yagwe is going to go crazy. Does he get another hit? Yes, unfortunately. Okay, we're going to need to try this on something that isn't Yagwe. Yagwe, so strong. Still very strong. That hasn't changed. Well, let's try that again. Okay. That's one of the other slight issues that this might slightly have on a Guild War day. It does have a little bit of a slow startup compared to some other options that does exist, as nothing really gets much of a mana start until you actually get it rolling. Luckily, we can end up utilizing the 50% score reduction that we have on our first slot, though. So we're going to go do this for full mana. We lose our turn, but we will be able to go and have a follow-up. So now we can go and cleanse, have a really good board for it, too. So hopefully we can finally make our comeback now and get that rolling. So we got all of our mana, almost all the way up to full on her. Still a little bit short, unfortunately. I don't want to take Skull just because that's not going to be enough to actually kill it out. Unfortunately, our disable isn't really going to be enough either, so we're in kind of a weird situation. I think I might actually just have to go for the Skull here, so we'll take that over. He'll end up doing his little follow-up thing. It does end up getting the kill, and let's see. Looks like we can't even get the disable down, which is quite unfortunate. However, we do get a pretty wide range off of Brown, so we might end up going for that next. Got all of our mana to go and summon her. Hey, if nothing else, we can go get the summon. Though the only real big issue with this too, though, is we kind of can't. Because if we try going for the summon... Oh gosh, he's going to do the yellow convert too. We're in a really weird situation. So I guess I actually do go for the summon then, because I need these purples to go and redo this board. So we'll go and do our true damage, do that. That will almost kill the other one as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't kill it all the way. He still has a really good Mercy. I was kind of doing that to try to get rid of the Mercy, but of course it creates purple, which will kind of just synergize right into it. We can go destroy all the color and try to remove that off of board. The only problem is there isn't really anything too good to do that off of. I guess we could do that on purple just so he doesn't get value out of his ability, and of course also feeds his purple back. So we'll go for that. We have recast, so we can now go do this on green and completely disable him out. So we should be set to go now. So it took a little bit to get going, obviously. But once it gets going, it ends up working out pretty well because you have a lot of disable and a lot of mana drain, especially if the enemy's using a lot of the same color. But right here, we'll just go do this onto a green, get them disabled. They'll do Skull Poke on us, and it'll just die to the bleed. Of course, even though we did get stunned there, we were able to get quite a few stacks of bleed. And of course, bleed does 10 damage per turn once we end up getting it to a 4 stack. I believe it's 1, 3, 6, and 10. It's 1, 3, 6, or 10, or 1, 3, 7, and 10. I always keep forgetting the third value because very rarely do you ever bother using bleed. But yeah, you end up getting up to 10 every single turn once you finally get that to the end. And here we have a 4 times Daemon team. With this, we will be able to go and have a full Daemon bonus. Not too much of a point to really get this, as it isn't a huge bonus, and I don't believe we have a Daemon pet yet. However, one benefit that this does do, if we end up synergizing it with Queen of Sin, which is a really similar mythic to this mythic, both useless, but they do have synergy together nonetheless. They are both Daemons, and they end up getting Bless all Daemons off of a Queen of Sin cast. So if you're up against something that has a lot of stats effects, you'll be able to use this as a utility to kind of keep it safe and get all of your troops blessed, or at least all the Daemons. And since he counts as ones, you'll be able to do it. Also, one other pretty noteworthy thing about this mythic that I haven't really mentioned yet, however, it doesn't really have much synergy in the current state of the game, but might into the future, is that this new mythic does count as rogue. It is noteworthy in that it counts as rogue, as it is the first rogue mythic in the entire game, surprisingly. I didn't realize that until a couple weeks back, but yeah, it is the only rogue mythic. Not sure why, but it is. And that's relevant because 50% mana start to rogues is a thing that has existed for a little while now, as of a couple weeks ago. So it has that capability now, if nothing else. So we end up dying there, but we are using a, we do have summons. So right here, we can go do a Queen of Sin and go get Blessed for our entire team. So we'll go cast this down, and that then gives us a Lust and First slot. We can then go Life and Death if we want, which I think we'll do, because we do end up getting double kill off that. And, what killed? Let's see, what just killed there? That was weird. I think we killed off a combination of 7% instant kill on death, combined with a random lust? I need to go check the replay on that. Gosh, what even got all that damage down? That should have only really killed 2, but between the lust damage and the 7%, I don't think the 7% triggered twice. However, it is possible that when you end up getting the that one trait that's on several hero classes, it's the final trait on a couple of them on 100. It's one of the few 100 ones that's worth it. But you end up getting a 7% chance to kill every kill. And this does actually stack if you get multiple kills. It's one of the few things that does. So if you get 2 kills simultaneously, it actually does check two 7% rather than just 1 7%. So that could have been what happened. That or it was just ended up dying to a charm. But anyways, those are the teams. Not really much to use, honestly. I would probably ignore this for the most part. Bleed, still a rather underwhelming mechanic. It is going to be the best thing for Bleed in the game, and that might have some usability into the future. But as it currently stands, I feel like this will be rather underwhelming. It's not going to be able to upscale for things like Delves and Tower of Doom. It's probably going to fail a little bit in Guild Wars because it's pretty slow starting, as well as the fact that not only the bleed, but also for its mana, it doesn't really get any of its board control unless it ends up securing a kill, and it has that really weird backup summon. Just an overall troop that is basically going to be like Queen of Sin. It's a mythic that you're almost never going to use, and it will probably remain like that for some time. It might change as we get more true damage, more things that can end up doing multiple damage based on bleed. Like if we get a 2x skull on bleed that has like a 50% chance to do true damage, that'd be a pretty interesting combination that would synergize pretty well with this. Or if we ever get anything that just has boost ratio in general off a cast to bleed, or if we ever get better options that have both true damage and bleed. This is actually one of the only few options in the entire game, actually it might be the only, that has both true damage and bleed simultaneously. And as we get more options that has that capability, it'll probably have more viability into the game. But as it stands right now, I would probably avoid it. One thing to consider, though, about this mythic that is somewhat noteworthy about it also that I didn't mention is Darkstone. 10-star Darkstone does require you to own a mythic from Darkstone, and there are two mythics in Darkstone, the Possessed King and Mother of Darkness. Possessed King is definitely better than Mother of Darkness. However, if you don't have the Possessed King yet, and you are looking to get that to 10-star, it is probably easier for you to get your hands on a Mother of Darkness this week than it would be to go spend 4,000 diamonds on a Possessed King when you could just go craft something else that you might want instead. So that's probably the only situation where I would highly consider actually crafting this thing, is if you're near 10-star Darkstone and you want to go get it, but you still don't currently own Possessed King, as it will be able to serve as that mythic for 10-star Darkstone. And one of the reasons why that's so relevant, normally getting 10-star on a kingdom isn't like make or break, but it is a magic kingdom, and if I'm not mistaken, it's only 10-star magic kingdom. They're very rare in the current state of the game. That will change over time, but it's definitely worth getting it for the whole extra +1 magic, that is for sure. So worth considering. But anyways, guys, if you still have any other questions, feel free to leave in the comment section below. I'll be covering this mythic a little bit on stream, but of course we'll mostly be covering the new barbarian class and grinding that out this weekend. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you later. Thank you all so much for watching. Best of luck if you're going to be trying to get this mythic in the Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest, even though she isn't too good. And I will catch all of you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.